Chapter 1: Asexual and Sexual Reproduction in Plants. Reproduction is a vital process for the existence of a species and also brings suitable changes through variations in the offsprings for their survival. Reproduction also plays an important role in evaluation. So plants reproduce both by asexual and sexual means. We shall learn both the processes one by one. First, we shall learn about various means of asexual reproduction in plants. Panchanan Maheshwari. Professor Maheshwari was an eminent botanist who specialized in plant embryology and morphology and anatomy. He has published a book titled An Introduction to the Embryology of Angiosperms in 1950. He has explained how the embryos take part in the participation in reproduction in angiosperms, the flowering plants. So his role as an Indian scientist in embryology of angiosperms is well explained in his book, The Embryology of Angiosperms. Reproduction occurring in organisms fall under two major categories: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The reproduction method which helps to perpetuate its own species without the involvement of gametes is referred as asexual reproduction. Without the involvement of sexual parts, gametes, is called as asexual reproduction. We should learn the methods by which plants reproduce asexually further. Vegetative reproduction. It is a method of asexual reproduction in which bud grows and develops into a new plant. The buds can be formed from roots or stems or leaves. As this is a natural method, one of a natural method, therefore we call it as natural methods in vegetative reproduction. So the first picture that you are seeing is of Murraya, Karuvepalai. The new plant forms from young roots. The other picture, Gingiber officinale, ginger. Here, this is a stem. The form of the stem that is going to give rise to a new plant is called as a rhizome. And it has nodes and internodes, and the buds are formed terminally. So it is called as a terminal bud. The other picture that you are seeing here is colocasia, sapangalangu, and the form of the stem that is going to give rise to a terminal bud, and this stem is called as corm. Tuber, Solanum tuberosum. This stem part is called as tuber, and the buds are developing from the part that is called as eyes. These buds are going to give rise to a new plant, and the form of the stem from which these buds are growing are called as tuber. Then bulb. Bulb, it is of two types, tunicated and naked. Tunicated, as we are seeing in onion, here the leaf, the fleshy leaves, and the stem is reduced, and the roots that are coming from the reduced stem are called as the adventitious roots. And the bud that is going to give rise to a new plant is called as the axillary plant bud, and that is coming from this reduced stem. It is having a dry membranous scale that is called a tunic, and therefore it is called as tunicated. But whereas in lilium flower, these are the fleshy scaly leaves that are overlapped, but they lack this dry membranous tunic, and therefore these are called as naked bulbs. Two types of bulbs. So these are the methods naturally involving roots and stems for reproduction. Centinella asiatica. Centinella asiatica vallare. The stem part that is giving rise to a new bud is called as rana. Fragaria. The stem part can see the raised part that is stolon. The picture that you are seeing here, the raised part that I am showing is of a raised stem. This part is called as a stolon, which is going to give rise to a new plant. Offset. Pistia stratoides, water lettuces, agaya growing, the stem part is growing under the water. Chrysanthemum, samandipu. Here, see the stem part is growing below the soil and giving rise to new plant. This is called as the suckers. That is what you are seeing in the other picture. The suckers coming below the soil and from the stem, and it is growing below the soil, and these parts are going to give rise to a new plant. This picture is mint, pudina, the suckers that we are seeing. So these are the various forms of the stem that are going to give vegetatively into a new plant. Diascorea bulbils, the part of the stem that is going to give rise to a new plant. These buds are called as bulbils, growing from the stem and the axillary part. Therefore, these are called as the axillary bulbils. Kaivalli Kodi, an example of a vegetatively modified stem. Bryophyllum, giving rise to leaf plants. You can see the buds are growing from the edges of the leaves. Therefore, these are called as the leaf buds. These buds may fall on the soil and give rise to new plant, and these leaves are called as the bryophyllum. Various methods of vegetative reproduction we have seen.